Hello and welcome back to my 160th playthrough anniversary of the American Civil War. Today I've actually got set up the Battle of Stones River, Murfreesboro, depending upon which side you are affiliated with, and we're going to be playing the Great Battles of the American Civil War, Dead of Winter. This is a older game, but still I think a good one. Good Great Battles of American Civil War series. We're just going to be doing a smaller one here, but I like this one because it is a nice one that is set up for a good turning maneuver within the battle here. It's actually the very first kickoff of the battle itself. And if you know anything about the battle itself, the way it started was with the Confederates attacking on the Confederate left, Union right, and basically turning the Union right all the way around, pushing it all the way back, almost up to Stones River, before they were finally stopped. This one battle we're going to be, or this segment of the battle we're going to be playing, is the very initial attack on December 31st, 1862. Okay, so what will be happening is this is the initial attack by Hardee's troops, pushing around the very end of the Union line. And it's a nice one. I've played this one before. It's a nice one because it's one of the few battles that you do get a nicely aligned turning maneuver that you just can go right into battle with and really see how tactics of the day worked. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this, because I do like this. It is a lot of open ground, a lot of open, not so much rolling ground, but more the fact it's just open and clear. But there are some hindrances that will potentially block and limit the action as well. So this is what I'm going to be playing through. It's a 4-turn scenario within here. It's just 4 hours, 4 turns. Of course, there's activations. This is the Great Battle series, so there's activations that will be triggering. So the turns will be a little bit longer, and I will be probably doing most of the turns off camera. I may do some critical actions on camera and show you what they are, but I will definitely be summing these up and show you what the results are after each activation and actually after each thing goes along here. So first off is the setup, and I'm going to show you how it's set up. It's pretty much prescribed. All the units are in specific hexes, trying to be relatively historical to the battle. The ones here going across is the Union, down to the south, or one going across here to kind of the southwest to northeast is the Union. Going north to south down here is the Confederate lines, the initial lines here of McGowan's troops, and then Shelburne's troops here, and then of course Hardee over here. The Union, it was one of the McCooks, one of the fighting McCooks here, and he actually is on the board, maybe just off. Yeah, he's just off camera here. You'll be seeing them shortly. And his right wing of the Union Army, which consisted of Johnson and Davis and Sheridan's divisions within his corps, and they were stretched out on the very edge of the line. They actually stretched out to the northeast, up towards the river, as Rosecrans had wanted to start off the initial attack over in that side and actually across the river and attack Polk there, or attack Bragg there. Bragg actually got to go first, and he got the first go, and he actually was able to attack first and do quite a bit of damage before stalling and then ultimately retreating when the battle was over. So we'll see how we can do historically here, whether we'll be able to sweep across like Hardee did and actually up and turn the flank, or if McCook can actually hold out. I don't give him a lot of chance because this is a historical battle. It's not so much balanced in terms of being able to do that, but we'll see. Yeah, dice rolls and tactics will make the difference with this. So the thought on this in terms of the terrain, and I'll highlight this as well. We've got a couple of key areas of terrain. We've got our road network here, which the Confederates actually came in along the Franklin Road here, and lined up on it and just south of it, and used that as one of their accesses for advance. We do have some spot of trees here and there. This big tree clump, obviously right in the middle of the screen. We also have what's called cedars. This is a darker green. I'm not sure if that's coming through very well, but the darker green here, and a very large patch right here. These are cedars. Anybody who has visited the area, these are clumps of cedar trees that were grown in heavily rock stump roots area there. It's very tough hiking around there and doing anything. Unfortunately, this terrain that we're looking at here has since disappeared. This whole area of the battlefield is gone completely. That's another reason why I like this game. It preserves, what history you have. Actually, about right through here, there is actually an interstate, and the Franklin Road is, of course, developed into, 4-lane highway with, everything around it from there. So this whole area has been lost. So this actually preserves a little bit of it, which is key because this is what started the battle. This is what rolled up the flank and really provided the stage and the beginning of what we know as the Stones River battlefield that is preserved, up the road there. So, so we have this for the terrain, but we have a lot of open space. You can see here, this is open. We have open space in through here. We have open space in through here, and of course, up here, there's a lot of open space here as well. Great for turning, a good turning maneuver. The Union troops are taking up position along the tree line here, and actually in the woods, which I think is going to be a little bit of a hindrance to them, but linear tactics of the time, kind of strung out across here to hold out the right flank here. So the Confederate plan of attack here is actually use the Franklin Road as its initial line of advance, and it's going to do the typical right wheel, coming across and wheeling up this way. Once they've taken the intersection here that heads up this road, and I can't remember the name, and it's not on this map here right now. Once they reach this intersection here of the Franklin Road and this road, then they're going to pivot and head north, because this is heading west, this is heading north. So they're going to pivot around and try to get around behind them, drive the Union back, and hopefully take the day. Now the victory conditions for this is basically just knocking out brigades and divisions. We want to try to knock out the divisions to make them combat ineffective, and brigades as well to eventually drive the divisions to be combat ineffective without being combat ineffective themselves. So that's the rules, the scenario rules, victory conditions as written. I've played this before, like I said. I've modified this ever so slightly to make this a little bit more interesting and a little bit more historical to the actual battle itself. One extra condition is I have over here, you can see some red dots up here, because the Confederates wanted to pivot up here and use this road to drive behind all the rest of the Union troops that were behind or to the north up that way. I've made this a condition here as well. So they've got to take this. If they don't, it just degrades whatever victory condition that they get, by 1. So this gives them a little bit of bonus that they need to really push for these hexes to the north over here, as well as defeat the Union Army. Now you also see over here there's some dotted lines. This is also part of the special rules because this is starting at 6 a.m. on the 31st. During that point, there was a very, very thick haze, fog, early morning, mist type of thing that was hanging over the area. The two armies knew each other was there. This was not a complete surprise. They knew the Union knew the Confederates there, and vice versa in there, and the Union was somewhat prepared for it. They thought the Confederates were just going to sit there, though. They weren't prepared for an attack. So consequently, the Union will be on the defensive very quickly, and actually probably potentially retreating pretty quickly here as well, with some of the special rules that inhibit the Union from moving as we go along. But anyways, getting back to these dashes, this is actually the haze and fog, so they can't see past this dotted line here. So until they get up to that point, or beyond that point, I should say, they will not be able to see them. So Confederates will have a lot of freedom of movement behind that to get into position where they want before they make the attack. Second thing that's going to be important about this is that the Union will not have any activations until the Confederates are seen or a Union unit is shot at by something. So these guys are pretty much static at this point. We will be putting their AMs into the cup for the first turn. And they will be pulled, but if they have not been seen, that activation will just go by the wayside. If they have been seen, then they'll be able to activate and do activities. There's some other rules in terms of the cohesion being lower because it's early morning. They're just waking up, getting breakfast, so forth and so on. So we'll play those as we come in there. But the biggest thing here is this is going to be kind of a little bit of a surprise to have a full attack coming at them at 6 a.m. After the 6 a.m. turn, everything goes to the normal cycle and kind of goes from there. A couple other things. We do not have an overall commander for this. We do have 2 corps commanders, which are the field commanders for the battle. So in terms of the AMs, or I should say efficiencies for the AMs, the Confederates is fixed. We will have Hardee, who's down here. They will have 4 AMs every turn. And then he will have 3 AMs. I believe that's right, 3 AMs, and Polk will have, or I may have that backwards. Yes, I do have that backwards. It's 4 and 3. So Hardee will have the 4, and Polk will have the 3, and that will be all the time. All 4 of the turns, they'll have the same thing. The Union will start off with 1 because, as I said, it's a very early morning surprise for them. But then they will have a chance to pick, starting on turn 2, either a 1 or a 2 or a 3 efficiency AM to figure out what their AMs are. Again, that'll be modified by out of command and also McCook, who is a -1. So more likely it's going to be a lower number that they get for the AMs over there as well. So that is a little bit of the introduction to the battle here. So we'll get started with this. As I said, the Confederates have the initiative. They're going to go first. They'll have the first AM, and we'll have them move along from there. So let me go ahead and get started with the first AM, which is just going to be pretty much movement. I don't see any fighting yet because I want to get them just in the right position for this, but I do think we'll have some fighting here on the first turn. So the stage is set, players are in place, and I think we're ready to go. So we'll get going here. I'll get things started and be back with you with the first movement. Okay, so McCowan was the first chit drawn right there. And he, his units, of course, were arrayed right along here. They've moved up. We've got McNair has moved up to here. We've got Ector's brigade just to the south of the road. McCowan itself has gone over to this farm here, the Redoubt farm, with his cavalry to observe the battle once it gets going. And Rains' troops has moved up over here as well. So that gets them started. They're not quite in position here because Ector needs to slide a little bit more to the left. And I think we may stretch McNair out a little bit more too, because we want to get Rains and Ector to be targeting the crossroads here. Having those two brigades go against half of, or the right flank of Kirk over here, as well as Woolrich's units that are massed on the corner of the intersection there. So they have moved up and again have not triggered the Union to move yet. So they will just wait right there in the mist and see if we can get the rest of the units going behind them. I think Shelburne, which you can see right on the map edge, he is going to kind of be behind them and kind of provide support, either supporting over here or coming up the road as being a second wave to hit the Union in those cedars right there. All right, so the next chit we have coming out is going to be McCowan again. So we will play that one and get him moving as well. Okay, McCowan continues to move up here. You can see now he's arrayed just about where he needs to be to be in a position to attack. Now he's used 2 AMs already, so his next one is going to incur fatigue if he so chooses to use it. I think they will, only because they do need to, they do need to keep up the attack. There's only 4 turns to this whole battle, so they will probably go into attack. Oh, that's the other thing. That's another special rule too. They get a free change of orders in any activation here as well. So they'll probably change orders into attack mode, and then advance, charge into the units here with their next activation. But hopefully we can get Shelburne up as well and get them in a position to support before the attack starts. So next chit. Oh, Cowan again. Wow. This becomes a little bit decision here. I got to think about this here for a second, because I can have them go right in to attack mode, but their support is woefully behind. Shelburne is not keeping up with McCowan. Or I can pass it. Let them rest for a moment. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to let that pass because I do have one more AM. And if we let that go, then we still have the other one to play here. So next one here is, there we go, Shelburne. Okay, so at least we can get them moving here a little bit. And as I said, their posture here, swinging the camera back here a little bit. Again, same type of thing. They're attacking this way. Their direction of attack, I think what we'll have is Polk's units will kind of cover this flank from behind McNair all the way to the woods. We'll kind of string them out a little bit, because I think I'm going to put the rest of them Liddell and Johnson and Wood in as reserves right through here, and they will be in a position to provide a force at this point, taking the road, breaking these units here, and then dashing up behind them over there. So hopefully the fight will turn and actually should probably be over here. I think we can overrun the units. Sorry, there we go. Overrun the units over here as they come up the road this way and attack. Okay, so let me get things moving and be back with you to show you the results. Okay, so we see the results of Claiborne's movement. Sorry, I was just looking at something here to make sure I was doing something right. And we have this. We have Claiborne's moved up here. Johnson right here in front of him. Polk is moving up the Franklin Road, take his position here. Johnson's going to move up Franklin Road to attack here. We've got Liddell over here, and then Wood has come on the board over in here. Artillery is moving up as quickly as it can. You can see with most of them. This one here, Scott and Darden and Key, all trailing behind, but that's okay. They'll get up into position here, I think, within the turn. So there we have the reinforcing elements move up here. We still have the cavalry, as you can see off the edge over here, that will be coming on board as well. Okay, so that's 3 chits done. Let's continue on here. See what our next one is. Great, perfect lineup here. Claiborne again. So let me get them moved up into position. This is going to be their second activation. Yep. And bring you back and show you what. Okay, so here we're after Claiborne's second activation, and we see that he's moved up his units into the positions that I want them to be in. So far, it's been pretty much textbook movement, having 2 activations each before any other activations have come out. So we can actually get these guys into positions where we want them, where Polk is covering the woods to the road. We have Johnson, which has some pretty significant troops. I did mention this before, but he has the 17th Tennessee, which is a strength of 12, and the 44th Tennessee, which is also a strength of 10, with very high cohesion. So they'll be a good striking units once the battle gets joined here. We also have Liddell moving up over here. He is just south of the Redout Farms, and then we have Wood just beyond, just to the east of him. Artillery is still, again, trying to catch up with the units, but that's okay. They'll get there eventually. Here, it's going to be mostly from the Confederate side. It's going to be mostly an infantry battle, as it will once it gets joined here. So that's what we have after 4 activations. We still have a bit more to go. Let's see what's next. We have the Union March. Okay, that's I put in all of the commands, march commands, and units that are unit AMs that are in March as well, because you never know when they'll switch, and they'll be needed. That will be needed. So if it comes out randomly before, that's good, because that just shows the randomness of the chit draw. Okay, next one is the cavalry. All right, so this is the Confederate cavalry. There are these units just to the south. If I tip you back, you can see my close-up camera. I don't need that quite yet, but I think with the cavalry, just to give you a preview of it, I think they're going to come up, again, the open ground, skirting. There's some woods right here. I know I apologize for my dice camera in front of it. A little bit of woods are going to skirt that, go up around here and provide some flank support. If not, being able to do a large movement around the woods here, again providing more support and crushing blow to the to the Union right flank. So let me get them moving, and we'll be back with you. Okay, just a real quick view there. Apologize for the glare from the light. Let me move that back up out of the way. There we go. So you can see over here, Wharton has just crossed this road and making his way up this way. It's going to take him a couple, probably one more activation to get to here, and then one more to start moving around over there. So that's his activation. Pretty straightforward. Let me go to the next one. It's going to be him again. So we're getting a nice nice spread for the Confederates in terms of their activation. So let me get them moved and bring you. Okay, you can see Wharton has completed his move. They've moved up around the woods there and now getting in position over here. I think that'll probably be it for them. They have one more activation for this turn, but I think I will try to keep them out of fatigue. And if that comes up, I'll just have them wait right there. So next activation, Johnson. Okay, that is that's not going to be any activation because the Union has not spotted or been fired upon yet. Next activation is Confederate March. Get that out of there. Just got getting down there. We've got about 4 or 5 left. And next one is going to be Shelburne. Okay. So this is a little bit out of perfect sequence because Shelburne, coming back over here a little bit. There we go. Get some more. There we go. Shelburne is positioned here. They're behind. The attack force is behind here. This is their third, so they'll have one more. So I could actually hold them up and hope that McCowan comes out first. And I think I'm going to do that. I think they're going to burn that activation by passing and letting hopefully the McGowan shit come up next. If not, we'll have to figure out something. So anyways, next, that's Sheridan. Again, that's going to be nothing because nobody was activated. And getting down to the bottom here, we get, oh, there we go. Claiborne again. All right, so that's his 4th activation. Here's a choice here for me. I could have them move up here and here, but they would mix. You know what? I'm actually going to leave them alone, I'm thinking, because I really want to keep the units spaced out so we don't have a lot of trouble traffic-wise in the attack. I would have liked to have them come up, have McGowan attack, and then have them come up. But I think it's just going to be better if we hold them off, have McCowan attack, and then next turn Shelburne can weigh in as well. All right, well there we go. Here goes McGowan. All right, so now this is where it's going to get interesting because McGowan is going to take his 3rd activation, and we're just going to mark that to know that they're going to be fatigued now. Let's see. Yep. F, F, F. Okay. So first off, they are going to automatically switch. Units are automatically going to switch into attack mode here. So I'm going to, excuse my reach. I'm going to deploy counters here, so they're going to be an attack. They're going to be an attack. And They're going to be an attack. Typically I put them behind them, but there's units behind them. So, all right, so they go into attack mode here with everything. So now let me play this through, get the units moved up, and then bring you back and see how the fighting actually goes. Okay, bringing you back after McCowan's fourth activation. Yeah, fourth activation to show you the results. So McGowan went into the attack. Luckily, he was able to get both Rains and Ector combining and did a combined assault up here and pushed back on Woolrich's units here. And then we had McNair push up against Kirk over here. So let me describe what happened. So this attack up here, we had Rains and Ector move up and attack right in through here. And they did straight charges right into the units. These guys just took a step back, did the retreat before shock, and were able to fall back here. So there should be some interesting battles forming up down here. In the cedars back here, one unit did the same thing. They retreated before the attack. But here, because, let me just break out this little hex. Because there was a gun in here, the unit over here did not retreat and they stayed in there. A little bit of back and forth firing. Didn't go with a straight charge on this one. The artillery was able to pour in canister on this unit here, and they depleted them down to a 3 strength and disordered them. But McNair was able to hold them together to some degree to continue the attack with them. Then, of course, once they fired, they're going to get overrun and abandoned. Now, I'm using the abandoned rules from the latest 2021-22 rules rule set. So these guns were abandoned on here. This unit up here, they were disordered through the exchange of fire over here, and then when they were attacked up here, they failed their pre-shock UDD, and that routed them. So we have our first routed unit now over there. That was the 29th Indiana that was routed out of here. So they're headed out someplace, and they probably will not be back. So actually, these units could actually move up here as well. There we go. And they're going to pivot to face the other ones. And as they do, they will do this as well. So they've taken this intersection. It was a good first turn for McCowan by grabbing the intersection itself. Now they still got to fight over here, and they still got to break through over here, but now they should be able to pour through. I'm thinking Johnson can move up here next turn. These guys can push forward. He can get in behind here as well and really start causing problems. We also have our cavalry over here that can swing around up in here to really force these units of Woolrich's out, as well as turn the rest of Davis's flank. Now, with that attack, any other Union chits now become active. So we do have one more left in here. We've got 2 chits left in the bucket. And let's see how it goes. Next one out is going to be Davis. Okay, so we do have Davis. Davis will be activating. Davis is these orange units up here going across this way. So let me take a look at what we're going to do with Davis and see if he's going to move or adjust or do something here, because I have a feeling he's going to have to do something. I'm not sure what yet, but let me give that a look and get back with you. Okay, I'm back with Davis. Just a little bit of maneuvering, trying to string out the line here and actually start some sort of defense back here. So Post swung a couple of his units facing south now to back up Kirk, as well as the artillery here has moved up and a little bit more over here to kind of keep a hinge point so that the Confederates don't push across here. Now, Carlin and Woodruff pretty much stay in position. A little bit of stringing out here, forming more kind of a long skirmish line just to keep connection with Sheridan's units back over just off the map over here, right there. There's Sheridan's units. So I'm hesitant to move this artillery here because it will automatically demoralize, disorder. And then I'm just going to have to recover it, and it's just a pain. So I think we'll just leave it where it is for the moment on here. And that's pretty much it for Davis's units. So the last one is going to be our cavalry, which I said we'll just take a pass on that as well because they're in good position. I don't want them to get fatigue, as a couple of units have already done that, which I forgot to put markers on. That one gets fatigue. Basically all of McGowan's units get fatigued okay. So that will go on there like that. Okay, so there we have it. So that's all of the activations for turn one. Take a look at the end of turn stuff. We've got our commander's movements. That would be Hardy and McCook. Let's take Hardy first. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. I'll get him here. I'll get him here. Okay, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Setting up in that position to give command over there. Now McCook, as I said, you might have seen, he's just off board, or just on board up here. With these units, they go together. So now we'll figure out where's the best place to put them. We've got Sheridan here, Johnson here, Davis here. He's got a range of 8. Now I'll want, it's really just for command, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think he'll actually come up, he and his units will come up to Johnson's hex. I'm going to keep them, they're in the same hex, but I want to keep them separate so you guys can see the command structure there. And Johnson's going to be, Woolrich and Johnson are going to be moving here shortly to get these guys in command. They can't obviously this turn because of the situation there. So there we go with commanders' movements. Replace recovery. There's nothing here. Combat ineffective. Combat effectiveness nowadays. Nobody's become combat ineffective, although we are starting to take casualties. And the end of turn. So that's the end of first turn. 6:0600 turn, 6 a.m. And we're off and going. So the Confederates have made decent progress, taken their initial objectives over here, positioned for next turn. Union recovering from here, very much like what happened originally. As I said, you can see I like this scenario because it really shows the whole right wheel effect in kind of a textbook form on there as well, and should prove interesting to see because the real fight I think is going to come in right over here, right about in here. That's where it usually ends up, gets around the cedars and over to these woods and then pushes up the road. That's why these hexes I've made important. victory hexes for the Confederates. Our haze will burn off for the next turn. I'll take that off, and our turn 1 cohesion will disappear as well, and we'll basically be moving into the new turn. Confederates will get some reinforcements stacking up over here. Where are we? There we are. Over here. They'll come on this way, which are kind of interesting. We'll see how we want to stream them in, whether they go through the main woods here and around the cedars, or if they come up and around and attack Sheridan. That has been very useful before, but these cedars kind of tie them up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we do that for turn 2. That'll be the 7 a.m. turn. So with that, I will say thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're liking these 160th playthroughs with everything, and hope you enjoy them and continue to watch. Take care. Bye-bye.